So the title of this video is that your parents don't have all the answers, and this is a lesson that I've always kind of like thought about for the past couple of years or so. For context, I've been on a journey of self-improvement, of betterment, in order to become financially free, start my own business, and get better in all realms of life. And in order to do this, I had to understand that all of my family, for the most part, and my parents and so on and so forth, didn't all have the answers that I was looking for at the time. And so not only did it help me understand that there are other people and other places where I can actually get those answers, but there are also greater and, I guess you could say, greater heights to go to, and stop limiting yourself to your parents' zone of influence, right? Because, like, of course, if you have parents that are already successful in a certain realm, then in that case, that's definitely something you can take advantage of. But on the other hand, if you don't, then in that case, you need to understand that your parents are, for for the most part, they're just humans like you and me, and they're just doing their best with what they have, and they're really just trying really anything in order to figure something out. And so if they don't have all the answers, that's fine. Like, that's something I had to learn, like, over the course of the last couple years. Because, like, before I thought, like, oh yeah, I should listen to my parents, I should they have all the answers, they have more experience, they have more life experience, they've lived longer, all this sort of stuff. They are the adults in this situation, so I need to listen to them. But slowly I started realizing that actually doesn't really help me truly become my best version of myself. And so I thought about it long and hard as to what to do, and I came to this conclusion that since it's their first time on earth as well, they're really just trying their best, and that doesn't mean that they have all the answers, and that's fine. You won't have all the answers either. Like, whenever you go through life and you experience things and you test things and you do things, you'll understand that there are a lot of things that you don't know. And as soon as you put yourself in the headspace of, there are a lot of things that I don't know, I know that I don't know. And so this is extremely important, because it allows your mind to really think on itself. Since I don't know a bunch of things, I'll keep my mind open, willing to learn other things, right? Because I've been talking with a lot of people, and the biggest problem, the biggest issue that I've noticed is that when you think you know everything, you don't learn. And so you can actually talk to people, and you can actually understand, like, what they're doing and everything. And if they think they know everything, then basically they're never willing to learn anything. Like, you might tell them something, you might try and educate them on something, but it's never gonna get past the thickness in here, right? It's just not gonna happen. And this is something that has happened to me in the past before as well. It was a couple times where I was just like, I guess you could say, roughly 2 years ago, I was really just studying out my own business and trying to figure things out. And I thought I knew everything at the time. It's like, I was like, yeah, it's gonna be super easy, So I started doing a bunch of stuff, and then I realized the lack of skill and competence that I actually had. And then I had to open up my mind to really say, okay, well, there's a bunch of stuff I actually don't know how to do, and that's fine, and I'm gonna learn it. And if I had not gone through that, it would have made everything like 10 times, maybe even 100 times harder, because I'm still doing things as I know everything, which I don't. And sometimes, even today, this happens to me from time to time. I do one strategy over and over and over and over again, and the results are quite mediocre, and I'm not really getting what I want. And I then feel like I need to force myself to change strategies, or I need to figure something out, or I need to break out of the comfort zone and just try something new, or test a new strategy, or like for instance, let's say in my own business, if I want to acquire bigger and better clients, I need to be better at sales. I need to improve my sales process. I need to improve my outreach process. I need to improve all of these different metrics step by step, right? It's like, if I want new clients, I need to be able to go out there and talk to them. I need to be out there, like, being able to strike up a conversation, say the right things in the right order in order to get them to agree to a meeting, and then on the meeting do the same thing, and then close a deal. Like, that's the list of steps that I need to go through. So in this case, all of the answers aren't given. Like, it's kind of like you've got a blank sheet of paper and somebody says, you need to find the solution to close this deal. And you write a bunch of shit on the piece of paper, and then somebody grades your piece of paper 1 out of 100. And you're like, well, I thought I did good. Like, what the fuck is wrong? And they don't explain it to you. They just say, try again. That's basically how life works. Life is basically a series of you fucking things up over and over and over and over and over again, and just trial and error, just trying to figure things out. And if somebody has succeeded in the trial and error better and faster and previously instead of you, then in that case you can go to them and you can ask them, what is the answer? Like, what actually works in this case, okay? So that way you can gain some time. So like, for instance, if you don't know how to start a fire in the wilderness, then you can go see the guy who knows how to start a fire in the wilderness, and you can ask him, hey, how do I do this? And then he'll show you, and then you'll learn it, and then you'll do it, and then you'll succeed. But if you try and try and try and try, you might not succeed right away compared to the other guy showing you and like being able to do it in 5 minutes. In this case, if you try and try and try, it might take you a couple days, a couple months, a couple years, sometimes, depending on what we're talking about. So you really need to be careful as to, if you're not progressing, if you're not changing, if you're not improving, if you're not getting better, if you don't feel like your past self, like last week, was worse, way worse than who you are today, then in that case, you're not on the right path. You're not making progress if you don't feel like that. If you don't feel like your past self was far worse than your present self, then you are not making progress. But if it is, then that means you're on the right path. I can tell last week, there's a couple things that come to mind, and I'm like, you know what? This thing I was actually fucking not on point with, and now I am. And now I've tested this, and I've tested that, and I've tested this, and I've tested that. So my past self didn't have that information and that data and that experience, but my present self does. So that's what I'm talking about. So the point being, what I wanted to focus on in this video that I'm recording for you today, is to focus on what can you do to improve your skill and learn more things over and over and over and over again in order to keep improving. Because that's all you want to be able to do at the end of the day. You don't want to just get to a plateau and then just never progress ever again. Like, I don't think anybody wants to do that. Like, it's kind of like when you play an MMORPG and you get to level 100 and then you're like, this is boring. Let's start a new character, or let's just play another game, you know? It's the same thing. So, the advantage that we have, though, in a day-to-day life is that there is no limit cap on the levels, on the things to do. You can do so many things. You can increase your skill, improve your capability, improve your competence in so many different realms. And it makes everything much more enjoyable because you're actually doing it in real time. Seeing how much progress you've made over the past year, 2 years, 4 years, 5 years is actually a very nice feeling. I'm speaking from experience, if you couldn't tell. But yeah. So if you're watching this video and you think to yourself like, hey, I need to become better at taking better decisions or making better decisions. I need to become better at figuring things out on my own, becoming more of a critical thinker, a strategic thinker, analytical thinker, all of these things, right? Then in that case, I urge you to pause the video and just think about it for a second. And every single time you feel like, and this is important, if you think or you feel like you're stuck on something and you're not making progress and what you're doing is just repeating the same thing over and over and over again without really considering skill level, then in that case, I urge you to pause what you're doing. Stop for a second. No distractions, no nothing. Just sit there in your room and just look at the wall or look at the ceiling and just think. Think about what can you do? What can you do? What can you do? And this works perfectly for me at the same time is either taking a walk around like a local park or in nature or in the wilderness. Like, I heavily recommend that. Or like if you live in let's say I live in Auckland here in the center of the city. So what I like to do is I like to walk around the harbor so I can see the water. I can watch the sea, and I can have the breeze and the wind and the air and everything. It feels very liberating. So that's what I like to do whenever I'm thinking about ideas. I just go along the pier or the harbor, the dock or whatever, and I just walk and I go in a big circle and then I go back home. So that's basically what I like to do from time to time, which is very nice to clear your head and to get a fresh perspective on what you're doing. So if you don't do that, I would heavily recommend implementing what I like to call perspicacity walks throughout your week, and then just using those to think about what you're doing right now, how you could do it better. What maybe you're stuck on something, you've been doing the same thing over and over and over again and it's not working, or it's not really satisfying for you and you're completely dissatisfied with the results or the current stage of your life where you're at. Maybe it's your progress in the gym, maybe it's the job you're working, maybe it's something completely different, maybe it's a hobby, maybe it's whatever you want to do. Okay, I'm not going to force you to do anything, but I am going to make you give you some recommendations and some suggestions in order to live a more fulfilling life, because that's what's worked for me so far. Now, going back to the main topic of your parents don't know everything. This is an important lesson that you need to learn quite early in life. Because the earlier you learn it, the faster you'll be able to understand that you need to learn things as well. And you can actually help your parents learn as well. A good example would be, I put my dad in the gym. Something quite cool actually yesterday that he told me was, it's been a whole year since he's been back in New Zealand. Because basically we used to live in France before, and I decided to move to New Zealand, which is where my dad is originally from. And he'd never been to the gym for like over 30 years, right? No exercise, didn't really take care of himself physically, mentally, whatever. And so I was like, yeah, you need to get into the gym, you need to do some exercise, you need to do something. And he said, yeah, you're right, actually, could you show me like what to do in the gym? And it's been a year since he's been back to New Zealand, and I've helped him get into the gym and eat more healthy and take better care of his health. And I think he's lost 17 kilograms, which is roughly, if I'm not mistaken, it's roughly 39 pounds. And that over the course of a year, right? Because I helped him get into the gym and take better care of his health. And he would not have learned that if he didn't see that I did that first, right? The simple fact of me doing it first and showing him what's actually possible has actually helped him learn that there are many things he doesn't know. And even at his age, I think he's 52 or 53 or something like that. But yeah, like it really does put everything into perspective. So the point being, even if your parents don't know everything, even if you don't know everything, that is completely a-okay. Because that means that you just get to make progress, to learn more things, to improve yourself in different areas of your life. And that means you've still got ground to cover and areas to explore and to learn and to discover for yourself. And if you can, I would always suggest learning from somebody else first, because that's, if somebody already knows what you want to know, then in that case, it's much faster to learn from them than to just do it yourself. But always try new things, always test things, always take more action is the lesson for today. Because if you close yourself out of learning new things, you will never improve. You will never upgrade your character. You will never level up. You will never increase your capability, your competence as a man today. And you probably won't be a very respected man, and you won't be following the ethos of this channel, which is to do better. So with that said, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate all the support. As per usual, like, I post one video every single day. So based on the topics that I just covered today, basically I'm creating videos and I'm posting videos on this channel to show men that how to do better and leading by example and being a more respectable man. So if that's something you're interested in, just feel free to like, comment, subscribe. You can unsubscribe at any point, but I do appreciate all the support. With that said, it's a beautiful day, so it's time to get back to work, and I will see you in the next one tomorrow. See ya.